What if I told you that Resident Evil isn't just fiction? And what if there is some real truth behind the theory of the infected leeches? Cannibalism and mind control aren't mere horror tropes. They've been explored in actual science as mechanisms they could spread like a virus, encoding knowledge, behavior, and even personality through consumption. The idea that one creature's learned experiences could be liquefied, ingested, and instantly inherited by others sounds like mad science. But it was actually tested in a lab. Maybe we're closer to a Resident Evil-style outbreak than we could ever expect, where a single virus turns hosts into vessels for collective memory and control. Back in the 1960s, a researcher named James McConnell conducted a series of now legendary and fiercely debated experiments that people often retell with leeches because of how perfectly the details echo blood-sucking parasites. Trained subjects were placed in a complex maze riddled with dead ends, false turns, and punishing stimuli. At the true end waited a reward, a drop of blood or liver paste that the creatures craved. After days of trial and error, the trained ones learned the exact path with near-perfect accuracy. Then came the gruesome twist. The successful navigators were chopped up, blended into a liquefied slurry, and fed to completely untrained leeches that had never seen the maze. When those cannibalistic newcomers were dropped into the identical labyrinth, they didn't stumble or explore. They shot straight through to the blood reward on the very first try, as if the memory itself had been downloaded through the meal. The implication? Learning wasn't locked in the brain alone. It could be stored in chemical form, possibly RNA or proteins, and transferred through digestion, turning cannibalism into a literal vector for inherited knowledge. As we know, Resident Evil begins with three visionary founders: Oswell E. Spencer, Edward Ashford, and Dr. James Marcus. But the one we're zeroing in on is the creator of the infected leeches himself, Dr. James Marcus. In the late 1970s, working deep in Umbrella's hidden facilities, Marcus began obsessively breeding ordinary leeches as his perfect test subjects. He discovered the progenitor virus in Africa and realized certain annelids, leeches especially, adapted to it better than anything else. By 1978, he had cracked the code. He fused progenitor virus with leech DNA to birth the T virus, then injected it directly into living leeches. The results were nightmarish. The parasites swelled, grew razor teeth, and became vectors for a virus that didn't just kill, rewrote biology, spreading infection through bites, fluids, and consumption. Marcus used swarms of these infected leeches as living laboratories, watching them evolve, multiply, and hijack nervous systems. His final masterpiece